to another episode of Gam and Mz Podcast. I am Gam, and of course, I got my sidekick, my co-host,
Mz Gogetta.
Y'all, guess what? We're back for season 12. That's crazy. So we've been partying, 5 years now?
Yep.
That's a long time. And we at season 12. Look at God.
Look at God.
God, I thank you. And you know what? We went on our little break, much needed break. But I don't know about Mz Gogetta. I can only speak for me. I kind of miss partying. Like, I tell everybody, I could pod all day long.
Oh, yeah, you can. I don't have time.
Do what?
I don't have time.
You had time. What? Had time to push that mic around to your mouth so I can hear you.
Shady, and you talk about me?
So with that being said, y'all, we have a special guest this afternoon. Hello, Miss Shamay. How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm good.
Good, you good? So before we get started, let's do a mental health check to make sure that you are really good. So how is your mental? Like, are we on point? Are we good to go or no?
Oh, no, we good to go. We good to go because my mental comes after my spiritual. So we good to go.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So with that being said, introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners of Gam and Mz.
Okay, I am Shamay. A lot of people that follow me, they know me for empowerment, encouragement. I love to feed God's people. I am a woman of the cloth. I am a preacher. I am a mother of 5, and I am a wife of 1. Hello.
We don't want to cause no problem. I'm the wife of 5 as well. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, and so I'm just out here just being used by God however he sees fit.
I know that's right.
Okay.
I know that's right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So tell us a little bit about you, like, you know, who Shamay was growing up, some of the things you may have experienced.
Well, me growing up, I was the type of person. You ever seen the person in school that, you know, everybody said, oh, she got a pretty face. You know, she got such a pretty smile. I was that girl that wanted friendship. I wanted love. I wanted a crew, but I just got so rejected by people because of my weight. You know, I dealt with a lot of insecurity issues. My mom didn't raise me because she went to the military, so my grandma raised me. And so with that alone, as I got older, I realized that I really dealt with rejection from a child on up. And so I became this woman that really knew how to mask her feelings and her emotions. Like I could hide it behind my smile. And then when people tell me that I had like one of the most prettiest smiles they ever heard, seen, I worked on it. I actually went home and I used to work on smiling and laughing.
Wow.
No, really, because that was the only compliment I was getting. Either I would hear people say that I had a pretty smile or, you know, my hair was long. So I took a lot of energy into perfecting my smile and perfecting my hair because that's what was getting attention. And I grew up with the same cycle all the way up to I was like 27 years old.
With focusing on your smile.
Focusing
and
on
your
my
hair.
Right. I was the person that could make people laugh, and I was the person that, you know, brighten up the room because of my smile. And so because of that, that's all I identified myself as, just somebody that could bring laughter or peace to other people. Yeah.
So you basically start identifying yourself based on the compliments people were giving you.
Absolutely.
So you adapted to that.
Yes.
This is who you are.
Yes. I really truly believe that I knew how to be a chameleon. Like I could blend in with anybody. But it really was me scoping out what was getting their attention. Was it my hair? Was it my smile? Was it making people laugh? So,
Right.
yeah.
So I understand you said you dealt with like weight issues. So coming up, being that you dealt with weight issues, and you kind of got to the place where you probably felt inadequate a little bit because, and I'm gonna tell you why before I ask you the question, because I remember growing up too, and people was like, "Oh, you got a pretty face," because I was always thick, and then now I'm fat, but you know I'm thicker, but they was like, "You got a pretty face," and then as I got older, I took offense to that. Because it's
Absolutely.
like, so basically you saying I'm fat, but I'm cute.
Right. You know, that thing used to hurt me.
Yeah.
Especially when boys said it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know, you got such a pretty face.
Mm-hmm.
But then the older people would say it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The older mamas in
The church,
yeah.
The
Like, you
older
got
lady,
such
yeah.
a pretty face. You know, some people used to say, if you lost weight, girl, because your face is so
Oh,
pretty.
wow.
Really?
Yeah, and as a child, you take that.
Yeah.
You take that as a child.
Like somebody actually said those words.
Several times, different people. Like, all you got to do is lose some weight. Or you ain't fat, you just big boned it, but you got a pretty smile.
Mm-hmm.
Still coming back to my weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let me understand this, and as well as Miss Gogetta, that's me. Gam said that. Gam said
She
that
been off
too. too
long, y'all.
Yeah, I haven't had nothing to eat today. Okay, so I'm a little delusional right now. I'm just running on this mint. That's it.
Help the Lord.
So now, if people only said something about you have a pretty smile or you have a pretty face, but they didn't actually say anything about your weight, because I'm gonna take it and say this: even if you were smaller, do you really think they would say, "Oh, you have a pretty face to be small," or would they still just probably say you have a pretty face?
Nah,
It could have been a thing that you was feeling about your weight, so you thinking that it's a hit on your weight,
yeah, both,
not
both.
necessarily.
Both, because you got to remember, I'm around other girls. I'm around other women, so they get other compliments. They get,
Okay.
oh, you look good. You about a 10, or I just want to bite you. And then, no, for real, I'm telling you stuff that I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when it comes to me, and you got a cute face.
Okay, so it was like you hear the other girls' compliments and yours stopped at the smile,
Right.
stopped at
Or the
pretty
hair.
face.
Or the hair.
Okay, so
That's crazy.
And you
Okay.
take that with you.
Yeah, yeah, and it does something to you, because you know what I'm saying, like even when you was in there talking, it brought me back. So my question to you was, being that was an issue for you, did your family know, like did your grandma know that you had these, that people were telling you that, and that it made you feel a certain type of way?
Okay, so check this out. My grandma, she used to be the shot house. Okay. So she used to play, have like car parties on the weekend and
Like
stuff.
old school
People
music
come,
and
yeah,
stuff,
right. So people would come there, older women, older men. She heard some of it.
Okay.
So if an older man come or an older woman come and say, she got such a pretty face, but stop feeding her, stuff like that. And my grandma would cuss them out or tell them to leave, but it still didn't change that I heard it. The effect of it still didn't
They would say
change.
stop feeding her.
Yeah.
That's
Somebody
wild.
told my grandma to just give me fruits and vegetables or send me to like a weight loss camp. For real. Older people with, they drinking, they having a good time, and
Anything.
They just
for
eating it.
real. And this was like at 5, 6 years old, because I've always had a problem with being on the heavier side. Always.
Wow. Yeah, see that could have got ugly, because if it was at one of my aunt's shot house, baby, they would have been done. They'd be like, oh, Mr. Such and Such, we used to be so nice, but he got blip, 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 gone.
I remember this one time. The old man that was drinking, he had got really drunk, and he was like, all I can remember him saying is how my body looked like an adult body because I had so much fat on me. And that if his woman could have my face, he would, go to town on her,
Oh, my gracious.
And my grandma, she boiled some water on the pot. And she went to throw the water on him, but he ended up jumping up and running out the house. So
Oh, she was gonna get, yeah.
she was about to get him. She was about to get
Yeah,
him.
because
But
pretty
it
much
didn't
what he
change.
basically was saying that he would molest you or whatever.
Oh, we don't even want to talk about that, because 5 years old, so I wrote a book, and I said I started acting at the age of 5. Okay, start acting at the age of 5 because, again, my grandma, she had a shot house, and so older men came there, got drunk, and they wanted to do whatever they wanted to do. And the first time something like that happened, where I was taken advantage of at 5 years old, I was told that if I told my grandma, that they would kill my grandma. So I had to put on the acting skills, you know. I had to start pretending. And that thing happened all the way up to I was like maybe 11 or 12 years old.
What, with the same person coming over, getting drunk?
It was three men. Three different men.
Come to your grandma's house getting drunk and
Three different men. And I never told my grandma. Before she passed, she did not know. Never told her. She asked me one time, like she suspected something, but I told her no.
So you really thought they would kill your grandma?
Yes. As a 5-year-old?
Yeah, I'm talking about up until the age of 11, you were still thinking
Yes.
And I can see why you would think that, though, because, and then, you know, because you're still young, but then your grandma raised you. So if they kill her, who's going to raise you?
Right.
So you were in a tight spot. Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And then all I knew is I got so resentful with my mom because, you know, we have healed from that, me and my mom, but I got so resentful at her because I couldn't tell her either. I could not tell anybody.
I was about to ask you, did you tell anybody?
I didn't tell anybody until I got older.
So how it managed to be 3 of them, though?
It was a shot house.
Right, but I said 3 perverts was coming there?
Yes. These old men, crazy. I'm trying to tell you, these old men, they didn't care. They did not care. One made me think that it was going to help my grandma because what he presented to me was that my grandma and him had a thing going on, right? And what he presented was sometimes my grandma is too tired, right? And so because she's too tired, she needs somebody to come out and help her.
What?
Yeah. But see, when people have mental issues, because I look back now and I'm like, this originates from somewhere, or they seen it, or they tried it before and they got away with it, and the pattern continues. And then the people that it's happening to, we either shut down and never talk about it, and just cover it and suppress it and try to get love in other places, or we act a fool. Like I seen some people take it a different way, different route. That wasn't my route. You know, I won't bout that life. You know, I didn't get violent or anything. I just suppressed it all.
Wow. So all of those insecurities and being, you know, well, I can't say molested because that was rape, because molestation is like, isn't like relation, something like that. You got
okay. So being molested is anything sexual that's not agreed upon, and as a child, right? And as a child, So one of the guys, you know, he started off by telling me to just put my hands in his pants, and then he told me, you know, mind you, I'm still only being told that I got a pretty face and I'm fat, and so he's telling me I'm beautiful. Put your hands in my pants, and I want you to see how happy you make me, you know? And so as a child, a person that preys on a child that has insecurities already, you feel like, well, this is something that you're good at. I mean, this thing followed me for a minute because I really felt like this was all I was good at, like for real.
So let me ask you this. So with this going on, the three men, was this going on at the same time or 3 different times?
No, it wasn't the same time. It was 5 to 11. It wasn't the same time.
Wow. So so you were experiencing all of this, and then when your grandmother passed, were you an adult then, or were you still
I was 13.
You was 13. So what happened when you were 13? Like when your grandmother died, where did you go then?
I moved in with my mom and stepdad.
Okay, and that was kind of smooth.
Oh, smooth.
So you moved away. Were they still staying in the same area where your grandma was raised?
No, my grandma raised me in Suffolk, and my mom and my stepdad stayed in Portsmouth. Okay. So I got uprooted from my school, from my uncles and my aunts and my cousins. Yeah. And so I moved to Portsmouth, and I tried to fit in there.
What's up, family? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Gam and Mz Podcast. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Hit that notification button as well, so when we drop a new episode, you'll be first to know. Stay tuned to all things Way to Gam Minute.
I fit in there. You know, I had issues with my mom because when I say generational curses follow you, I did not know until I wrote my book that my mom dealt with the same thing. Wow. And my mom is 56, and she told me this when I wrote my book. So she told me this at like 52.
So had you not wrote your book, she probably would have never said anything.
That's what she told me.
So nobody never knew anything about her either.
What part are you saying was a generation curse? The molestation or the cute face?
My mom, and she's fine. She's fine with me talking about it. But my mom was molested, raped, sexually assaulted, starting at the age of 5.
Oh, wow.
And
was that at the shot house, too?
Well, this was walking, the very first time she was walking out the neighborhood. Okay. Same neighborhood I was raised up in, but she was walking out the neighborhood. And so when she told me, it was healing for both of us because we could share that type of trauma that we both dealt with. But it made me understand why she was so hard and rough when I moved in with her. Because when I moved in with her, my mom didn't know how to express herself. When I moved in with her, it was my mom, my stepdad, and my mom and stepdad, their children. I'm the only one who had a different dad. Right. And so my sisters and brothers, they shared the same dad. And so I came there already feeling rejected. Right. I already came there like I felt like I was a problem. So I wish I would talk about some issues that happened with my grandma. Then I was going to really feel like I was out the box. So I never talked about it.
That's wild. So it had your mom told your grandmother, then your grandmother probably could have protected you a little bit more too. So do you now do you think back in hindsight, do you feel like your mom should have said something years ago because maybe you may not have went that way? I mean, things may not have happened to you.
So when people ask me that, it's not that I wish she would have said something. It's more so my statement starts with, I understand why she didn't say anything.
Okay.
I understand it because I understand why I didn't say anything. Right. Because she could have said something, but my grandma was older, and my grandma couldn't be in all the rooms that I was in, you know. So she could have looked out more, but my grandma, it's no regrets. It's just more understanding and more of me knowing why I pray so hard against generational curses, and it having to stop with me so it won't repeat itself. And so my mom, to see her healing journey when it comes to it, like she still talks about different things that transpired in her life as that little girl, that 5-year-old, all the way up to her going to the military. Because what I would tell people is, go check on the little version of you, because you can find some stuff that you'll learn. You'll figure out why you do the things that you do. Because my mom, where she was no emotions, I was all emotions. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted, like, I was desperate. When I say I was desperate, when I moved in with my mom, and we can defer after, but when I moved in with my mom, I was still getting joked on in middle school. I was in middle school. I was fat. They called me Shamu. Every time people saw me, it was a group of boys. It was a certain group of boys. And every time they saw me, they would say, and I want a biggie fry and a biggie hamburger. I mean, they followed me in the hallways and said this to me. But it was these same boys that broke into my mom's house and tried to molest. Well, not even molest. They just tried to have their way with me. And because I wanted to be accepted, I let it happen. And I never told my mom. So it's just the things that you go through, or when you see people act a certain way, understand it got to be more to a story. Yeah. It got to be more to the story.
Yeah. So they broke in your mom. So they talked about you in school, but broke in your mom's house to get with you.
Yep. And then after that, it became like a every week type thing.
They would come every week to get up with you. But were they still joking?
And so it wasn't. Yeah. They still joked on me in school all the way up to I was in high school.
And so you...
Well, I take that back all the way up to I was in 8th grade.
So you allowed them to come in to have their way with you because you want to be accepted, but you still weren't being accepted.
Correct.
So how did that make you feel, knowing that behind closed doors you doing all of this with these guys, but in school
That
it was hurting your feelings?
I'm good enough to tolerate.
So you basically, at that point, when you think back, do you look at it like you basically allowed, or your self-esteem was that low that you allowed them to mistreat you? You allowed all this mistreatment to
That's
go on?
absolutely why. I allowed it because I had such a issue with my self-esteem, and I had low self-esteem, but I also wanted to be accepted because they still joked on me. They didn't joke on me as much. And so it was almost like, and when I say like, you're buying love at this point, you buying what you think is love. So I'm selling myself. And when I say I'm selling myself,
Yeah.
I used to buy them stuff. Like I would buy them food. I would go get them candy, anything I could do to seem like I was kind of cool.
Wow.
And they still wasn't having it.
It was what they wanted. So all of that happened to you, and then you had your first child at what age?
I had my first child at 21.
Okay, so you were an adult. So
Yeah, I was an
you were a
adult.
young adult.
Because I shut down sexually for a very long time.
Okay.
I was very insecure about my body. And I couldn't deal with a lot of stuff. And so I had one boyfriend in high school. And when I had my boyfriend in high school, I just felt like things was changing for me because I had never had a boyfriend in the same school with me. I would have, how you talk to people on the phone, but they never see you or you never see them. But when I got in high school, I ended up having my first love. And I stayed with him until I was 18. And then after that, I didn't date anybody until I was 21.
Okay, gotcha. So you had your first kid at 21. So how was that? So how was that experience for you?
Okay. So, when I had my first son, it was already different, and I prefer for me to say it before anybody else say it. I was older than his dad.
Okay.
And he was the first one outside of my first love that ever tried to actually talk to me without just saying I had a cute face, right? And so I get the attention from him, and bam, we get together, and I have my first son. When I had my first son, I'm in the process of moving out my mom's house. I'm staying with my mom. Me and my cousin are staying with my mom. And so it's so scary because it's a child. Even though I helped raise my brothers and sister, this is my boy. And so me and Mazat, we were like peanut butter and jelly. Like I felt like I was healing.
Okay.
I felt like I was going to protect him.
You felt whole.
Right. And I felt like I was going to protect him from everything that ever happened to me. That's how I felt. And, to see him grow up, Mazat, he still has a complex story to tell. But, some things Mazat witnessed and saw and was exposed to, it eventually made me feel like I felt at that job of protecting him, but I understood that it was still part of his story.
Wow. Okay, so you had your first kid at 21. Then, so how many? So that's one. So you had 4 more, right?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about you parenting. We understood that you were trying to protect him from everything that happened to you. But you were still a young adult being a parent. So I understand you were married too, right? So tell us a little bit about that. And just a little bit of backstory because we had your son on as well. So and he spoke from him growing up and some of the things that happened in his life and how he basically pivoted from what he used to do to now. He's a young man growing into this big old world, and and you were basically a mom who he was trying to do what he wanted to do.
Right.
And you were a mom that, stayed on your knees in constant prayer.
Right.
Just a little bit of backstory. So tell us a little bit about you being a young adult, you're a young mom, and you parenting, some of the challenges that you may have had?
I think with parenting, one of the major challenges is not feeling like I was going to disappoint my kids. Going back to me being rejected, I never wanted them to feel rejected. I wanted them to feel like if nobody else have your back, I was going to have your back. If don't nobody else be beside you, I'm going to be beside you. And in the mix of that, I kind of catered them, but I kind of opened up a door where they could kind of get away with a lot of stuff because I didn't want to disappoint them. Like, I even can look at it. I can look at it from a point of, because I dealt with rejection, I didn't want my kids to reject me because they came from me.
Right.
You know, I was on some, you know, man can reject you and people can do this to you, but these your kids are here, so they ain't gonna never do nothing to hurt you. And so because of that, I think I treated them more like friends than children.
Okay, got you.
And so that will be one of the things that I end up eventually learning, that, you know, I feel like you have to parent. You know, as they get older, you might form a friendship with them, but it is important for them to have a parent in their life where when they want to do something that's not going to be right, you have to stay firm and say no. You got to stay firm and say, I'm not going to let you do this. Because eventually they're going to appreciate it. But if you say a lot of yeses, or you show them that when you put your foot down and they reject you, then you'll take your word back, then it's weakening them.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So when your oldest was you know, growing up and kind of trying to have his way, like, what were some of the, how did you deal with that?
So, I whooped my Zach a few times. I beat his butt. I beat his butt. I beat his butt. But eventually he started eating it. He started eating it, and I was more tired than him. But I would definitely say my community, his godmom, his goddad, I would pull everybody in. I would call prayer meetings over there. I would call the pastor over there. I would say, let's get some oil, put Mazak in the middle, and let's pray, because I couldn't connect what was going on. At the time, I really could not connect that. I was just on some, who are you becoming? Because you are not my child. Like, I don't know you. And so we had prayer meetings almost every Friday night. Almost every Friday night. Yes. Yes.
Would he be in attendance?
Sometimes. Sometimes he would be there, and sometimes we didn't know where Mazak was at.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at what age did you start noticing a change in him?
So Mazak was a straight A student from primary to about 6th grade. 7th grade, 6th grade, his grades started slipping. I'm like, what you doing? I'm getting like a phone call here and there. And the thing about that, if I just, let me intercept for a second. The teachers would reach out to me and say, is something going on with Mazak? You know? Me and Mazak, we peanut butter and jelly. So as a parent that is very overprotective of their child and already deal with rejection and don't want their child to deal with rejection, we're going to be on defense. We're going to be on some, no, how about you check how you treating my son? You know, this is when parents blame the teachers.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes they are being treated unfairly. But for me, when I was getting the warnings from the teachers and the instructors and the counselors, I wasn't trying to hear it. Okay. I wasn't trying to hear it because, no, not my son. No. And besides, they don't understand you. Making excuses for this boy.
Right.
Like, I made so many excuses for this boy because I didn't want him to feel rejected. And I felt like they were trying to cast him out and count him out. Right. If I felt like just a little hint of them trying to count him out, I had to ABC them on why he's counted in.
Right.
Not understand they really was trying to give me warning about him.
Right, but you was using your past trauma and you was reflecting it back on him.
Right.
And that wasn't the case.
Right. And so when they like, what's going on? But then I started seeing it, but I was still making excuses. But the way I allowed his dad to handle things made it worse. It made it worse. And then Mazat mentality was, well, how can you come to my rescue for everybody else but your husband? Right. But your husband. And I'm like, like I was scared. I was scared, but I couldn't tell him that at the time. Right. You know, I'm just like, you're not understanding your dad, you know, making excuses, you know. You're not understanding your dad. Your dad is doing this because he loves you. You're forcing our hands, blase, blase. But it really did make it worse. And again, I don't make excuses for Mazak because Mazak eventually made his own conscious decision to do the things he did. But that was his journey. But I'm just taking accountability for me.
That's right.
And for me, I gave Mazak too much leeway. Even with my aunt and uncles or whoever in the church try to tell me something about Mazak or Isaiah, that's my next to the oldest. Okay. They try to tell me something about them. I leave the church. That's what I was on. I was on some. No, because you're not about to, every time I turn around, it's either my kids. It's my kids. I'm not about to do this. And I'm so grateful that I never left my church. It was so many conversations I had with Tyrell and Ebony on. So I'm about to leave. I'm about to leave because my kids already getting a sour hand and they don't need to get it in the house of the Lord.
Yeah, that's right.
Not understanding that when the people say that it takes a village, that's for real. And they only meant this thing from love. And so as he got older, as they got older, I was like, damn.
Glad I ain't leave.
I'm glad I ain't leave, but I should listen to the saints.
Yeah. So dang. So you guys were praying and I'm sure y'all probably were fasting and everything. Yes. Trying to get him to see, see the way that he was going wasn't a way that you believe that's what God had for him.
Right.
So he finally. So what was the straw that broke the camel's back when you were like, you know what, I'm gonna take my hands off of him. Let God deal with him.
I became suicidal.
Oh, wow.
I felt like I was too scared. So I'm too scared off myself. Okay. This is just me talking to me. This was me talking to me. I'm too scared off myself. So if I pray to God for him to just take my life, if I walk into the middle of traffic, these things, I'm trying to figure out how, because also I come from struggle too. And so I'm thinking I should get a life insurance policy because I can't provide for my kids right now. Like, we're struggling. We're on government assistance. We're just struggling. Everywhere I turn, we're struggling. And I'm doing the best I can, and it's not working. Get this turn off notice, lose this place, blase, blase. And now my kids are acting up, and Mazak ain't, like, he's being the enemy in my life. He's the enemy in my life. And so I'm just like, if I walk into traffic or if I get in an accident, so many times I drove on the highway and I'm just like, God, let a truck hit me. Let a truck hit me and let the insurance go to my kids, because that would take care of them more than I can take care of them right now. This is how the enemy talks to you. So I'm like, I would be beneficial to them if I was under the ground, because whatever I'm doing, it's not working. You're not hearing my prayers, or for whatever reason, you have turned mute to my prayers. So just take me. And so me saying that, and I'm looking at my kids and I'm looking at my daughter and I'm like, because then it's the battle with, but I said that I was going to protect my kids from going through what I went through, right? And I got to a situation, I was at the tip of my bed, and I was like, what have I done wrong? I remember crying out to God, what have I done so wrong that every time I turn around, my situation is getting worse? My son doesn't love me. He tells me numerous of times that he hates me. My next to the oldest son has anger problems that I have exposed him to from his dad. My other three are innocent. Let me tell you something. My 14-year-old, his name is Malachi. So it's Mazak, Isaiah, Malachi, Josiah, and Aaliyah. Malachi at the time is about 8 years old. I had just had my daughter, and I was still in like the 6-week. She was like 6 weeks. She was 6 weeks, and I remember this day like it was yesterday. And I feel like this is the moment where my kids really lost respect for me. Okay, all of them, but my baby girl. Now let me just say this: when I say this story, understand I'm not slandering anybody,
Right.
because what I do understand is everybody has a behavior that they learned. They don't. It doesn't just come with them. They learn it. Okay. So 6 weeks. My daughter's 6 weeks, and Mazak and them dad comes to visit because we're no longer together. We're separated. And he's going through what he's going through, and he's battling. I mean, call it trying to be a man in today's world, like whatever you want to call it, you know, whatever justification, I don't know. And he comes and, you know, he spazzes out with me, but he gets in my face and he takes me and he chokes me in front of the kids. And when he does that, you know, I'm fussing with him, calling them every name but a child of God. You know, this is me. This is my truth. This is my truth. Now, he could have his own truth, but this is my truth.
Right.
And I remember when he was choking me, he told me he was never, I personally don't think he was never going to do it. It was just things that he would say.
Right.
But he told me that he'll blow my brains out. And my 8-year-old had a panic attack. So when my 8-year-old had a panic attack, and I'm looking around at my kids.
The 8-year-old, was he next to the last, or was he the middle kid? He was the third kid?
He was the third kid.
Okay.
He's the third one.
So he's the middle kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, look at Malachi. And so I'm just taking it, though. I'm not fighting back. I'm taking it. And so something clicked in my head. Why don't I ever fight back? Why do I just take this stuff? Right. So now this is me really dealing with my spirit of rejection. Because this about to cost me my kids now. Because I see how they looking at me. And they can't do anything because they're scared of their daddy. You know? Right. And so I'm looking at this thing like, no. This is not about to happen. And so I eventually get up and, you know, we tussling or whatever, and I tell him to leave. But I'm talking to my 8-year-old, and I'm like, you okay? And he's, you know, trying to catch his breath, and I'm telling him I'm okay, everything is good. But then my next to the oldest, Isaiah, he spazzes out. Like, why you keep letting him come here? Why you keep letting him do this? You see your kids looking at you like this, and you don't even care. Right. Like, why you keep accepting this from this man?
That's what he was saying?
Yes. He was hurt, but he was scared. But what hurt the most...
He was looking at you kind of like being weak.
Yes. What hurt me the most is my kids showed me how they saw me. And that was as a weak woman who would settle for anything. Going back to rejection and want to be accepted. Because that won't me and my ex-husband's story all the time. Like something transitioned, something happened. I don't know what happened, but something happened where it became violent and it became dark and it became ugly. That wasn't the whole story. That was not the whole story.
So he's the father of the two oldest.
He's the father of all my kids.
Oh, all of them. Oh, okay, but y'all were just separated when you got pregnant with the baby girl.
When I got pregnant with baby girl, and okay, so let's talk about that for a second. I found out I was pregnant with her at 5 weeks. I went into my bathroom. Someone told me to take a pregnancy test. I took a pregnancy test, and it was positive. But right then and there, God told me, I kid you not, anybody that ever heard this story, they can relate to it, or they know this is my story. God told me right then and there I was having a girl. This was my first girl, first and only girl. He told me right then and there I was going to have my girl. I was going to have to protect her, but she was going to bring peace back into my life. And I kid you not, when we was in this is how we end up separating. I found out I was pregnant, and I told him he had to leave.
Wow.
And we never, ever got back together.
That was it for y'all.
That was it. But it didn't stop the threats and the arguments. Like, we had to work there. We had to work there. I had to work for my power. I had to work for my power. You have to work to get your power back. You can't just sit and wait for it to come in your hand. You got to get it back. You got to get the respect back that you lost from your kids. You just have to. And so when my son Isaiah lashed out on me like that, I was so hurt. I was hurt because I can't even fight against what you're saying.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. And then to hear it from your kid made it even worse. But at the same time, it gave you a little strength too, though.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they were allowing you to see what they see. And that was, unfortunately a weak woman at that time. Yeah. So time passed, your kids are all big, everybody's of age. So how is it now with the kids? Like, do you think that the kids respect you now?
Absolutely.
They see you for.
I got my power back. I ain't that bad, boy. I fought with the enemy. Like, the version of me that you see right now, I own her proudly. And I am unmovable, unshakable, steadfast in the Lord. And everybody that comes.
What's up, family? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Gam and Mz Podcast. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Hit that notification button as well. So when we drop a new episode, you'll be first to know. Stay tuned to all things Gam and Mz.
Into my presence have to come to me correctly. Like, I fought for this. Like, I literally fought for this. And so I even go back to, Mzak and Isaiah, they are only 1 year apart.
Okay.
So how it transition is, Dad leaves the house. Mzak leaves the house. Mzak is unstable at this point in all his ways. And so now it's Isaiah, right, next to the oldest. And Isaiah has so much resentment for Mzak. Because how dare you leave like Daddy did? Like, how dare you leave me here with them?
Yeah, that's right.
No, for real. And it has such a heavy weight on their relationship. And, it's very important for us to know who our children are, what God has said about our children. Because when Zach and Isaiah was babies, I knew right then and there, God was going to use them together in the kingdom. And so when these things happened, it broke a wedge in between them. But I saw hatred growing. Like, Mazak couldn't stand him because Isaiah reminded him of how much Mazak failed. Like, how much Mazak was a disappointment. Isaiah dealt with resentment and hatred with Mazak because he felt like you left and you abandoned me and you were supposed to be my big brother. And so I remember I used to ask Tyrell to help me pray for them and with them and talk to them because it's a story in the Bible. Y'all know Cain and Abel, right? They brothers. Right. And Cain killed his brother. And I used to tell them this story because I was so scared. Like, I was so scared that this was going to be their story. Yeah. And so I had to pray that thing off of them, and I had to give room for God to be God. Because can I tell you right now, my two boys, I call them like wind and thunder. When they in the house of the Lord, they worship together. They usher in the spirit together. Right. They sing together. They take us to a different dimension together. Wow. And to know that the enemy was always trying to take that from them. You got to understand something. Like, Jeremiah in the Bible says that God knew you before you were born. But not only did he know you, he made a way and an edge of protection for you to protect what he had for you to do. You were already called to talk to your viewers, to minister, to help. You were already called to do this. And so the enemy knows that. And so he's going to try to do whatever he can, starting with generational curses, starting with the things that you battle with, resentment, abandonment, low self-esteem. I can add all of that and say that's what costumed me as a weak woman and as a weak mother. But it's something about freedom in God. When you really submit to God, the Bible says, submit to the Lord, resist the devil, and then he flees. That's an order. You can't resist the devil without submitting to God. You have to submit to God first. That means that you have to surrender all of your issues and your problems to God. And so that's what I understood in this battle right here, because it gets so hard being a parent, especially a parent that struggles. You struggle financially, you struggle mentally, you struggle emotionally because you never felt that real type of love anyway. Right. You settled for stuff. You're struggling everywhere you look. And so it ends up handicapping you, and you feel like you get tired of the struggle. And if you don't handle it properly, you're walking into your doomsday.
Out of control.
Out of control.
Wow. I'm sitting here listening to you, and it's like everything you said, I could, when you told your story, and I say this to say that, like, sometimes when people come on and they tell their story, you kind of trying to piece it together in your mind. But in listening to you speak, I can visualize some of the things that you guys encountered. But being that you encountered so much, and then even from like a childhood up until your adulthood, even to being a mother, like, at any time did you feel like, God, like, why me? Like, I had this, childhood that I won't want it for anybody. And then here I am going through my own mess again. And then I have my kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you ever feel like, why? Like, why me?
Yeah.
Why this is happening to me?
Yes. The time I told you that, I literally was trying to plot out, like, how to leave this world. My major thing is, why did I have to go through all of this? Okay, it's one thing going through it as a child, but now I'm an adult, and it seems like I can never win from losing. It's always something. Like, I don't know if even your viewers, like, I don't know if y'all understand how much weight you can put on your mind, because your brain is so fragile. Like, it's a muscle, but if you put too much on it at any given time, it can snap. You can snap. You can have a mental breakdown. And so if you're dealing with the things of, God, why me? Like, this was my story. Why me? Why do I have to deal with this? Why can't I find love? Why can't you give love to me? Why can't I feel safe? Why is it that it seems like I'm here for everybody else, but it's nobody here for me? Why won't you hear me? Why won't you lift me up out of this valley, out of this darkness? The hardest response you are going to have to swallow is when God says, why not you? Because you got to be the one to stay back and tell the story. You got to be the one to say, sis, I know it's hard. Like, I legit been through this. I know you feel like you can't take care of these kids by yourself. I know you feel like that their dad is this or their dad is that. I know that child is disrespecting you and you have given them their all. But I also know that the only thing that's going to work is when you put God in the front seat. That's the only thing that's going to work. I don't know, like, I'm not talking to you from assumption. I'm talking to you from experience. But if I never had the experience, I couldn't be here to tell it in sincerity that I understand it and that you are not by yourself. The problem is we feel like we always by ourselves. Like, I don't hear nobody talking about this kind of stuff. I don't see this story. I don't see, like, I see that stuff on TV, but I don't see it up close and personal. When I say I got to a point where I thought I hated my kids, and when I say my kids, I'm really talking about Mz. Because we was fighting evil for evil. At one point in time, we were fighting evil for evil. Like, he threw a blow and he threw a blow and I threw one back. I didn't have time to think because I had too much clutter in my mind. When you got too much clutter in your mind, you're not going to think rationally. And when you got the clutter in your mind, it's because you have not learned yet how to cast it to God. And so the enemy knows that. And so the more clutter you got, the more you act irrational. So why fight? Why was I fighting evil with evil for so long? I don't know. I just wasn't thinking. I was not thinking. I was not doing right. I'm not making an excuse. I just was not doing it right. And I did not want to let go. Here's another thing. When you are a mother, a single dad, and you feel like you got to be there for your child, no matter if God tell you himself, let him go, it is going to be hard for you to let go of something that you have been taking care of and investing in. I don't want to let him go because I know how it feels for somebody to walk away from me. I don't want to let him go because I know how it feels to be counted out. I don't want to let him go because I know how it feels to be rejected. I don't want to let him go. I know how it feels to be abandoned. I know how it feels for a parent to walk out of your life. I know how it feels when everybody is calling you names and slurring behind your back and joking behind your back. I know how it feels. The enemy will use the weakest thing in you because that's what I was brought up from. I showed y'all what I was brought up from. And so I reflected it on my son, not understanding that I was really handicapping him. And so I just had to get to a point where, man, if I don't let him go, I'm going to die either way. Either I'm going to do it, either I'm going to do it or the enemy going to do it. Because here's the thing. The enemy wants to kill, steal, and destroy everything connected to me, including myself. Right? That's what he do. Right? And so if I don't initiate it, he's going to initiate it. And so it was too much going on. So I had to release it. And in releasing it, I'm not just talking about my issues, my rejection, my abandonment. I'm talking about this boy of mine too. Some of y'all parents, like, I know it's hard to let go of your child, especially if they don't have an active other parent. If you're a single parent, then you already feel like they've been dealt a sour hand, a bad hand. And so you feel like you don't want to let them go because they already been let go by the other parent. But when it's beyond you, you got to give them to God. When it's beyond you. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to invest all of your good energy, all of your good health, and you're going to find yourself losing it.
So I know you mentioned about mistakes. You said that you have made some mistakes prior. What is one mistake you don't regret?
Okay, so this is going to sound harsh, but in my whole story, I have absolutely no regrets. I have absolutely no regrets because I understand purpose. I understand that everything that happens is to better you. It's to get you to where God wants you to get to. All things, the Bible says, all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord. But one thing that I stand firm on is once I kicked Mzak out, peace came in my house. So making that initial move to say, you got to go. You can't stay here. You bring in too much chaos. I had already left his dad. And so it almost seemed like Mzak took the place of his dad. Or bringing more chaos, more anger, more violence. Because Mzak was throwing stuff and tearing stuff. He ain't never put his hands on me. But him and his brother fought all the time over, respecting me. Right. But it was just too much chaos. It was too much chaos. I mean, I said this before in the church, like, it got to a point where I was giving Mzak money to go buy weed so that we could have a peaceful house. As long as you high, you good. As long as you get what you want, you're good. It's no fussing in the house. You love us. You love us, Yay.
So he might have been getting high to remove the reality of what he actually had going on.
Absolutely.
But to you, it was bringing you peace because he was calm.
Absolutely. And that's just the ugly truth.
So what was
I even prayed, God, please don't let him get any bad drugs. Not God help me say no to him, but Cause I was supporting it. I knew clearly. I made a conscious
Enabler.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just don't let them get no bad drugs, guys.
So what would you consider your biggest challenge
Pertaining to my side?
pertaining to you, pertaining to your kids, your marriage?
The biggest challenge was loving me.
Now, why was that your biggest challenge to love yourself?
Because I never was taught how to love myself. Never was taught how to love myself. The closest I felt to love was really my grandma. It was like it was a beautiful love. Like she was always there for me, but she loved. Well, she passed, but as a child, I looked at it like she loved me. And then I was stuck with the story that I never got to tell her, the stories I never got to tell her. And then everything else that came in my life, it was just me accepting it because I didn't really value who I was. I became somebody's leftovers, or I became a project. I became something that people just benefited from. Like, how can I benefit you? I never asked myself that. How can I benefit you? Like, what can I do for you? You want some money? Like, I can even go into, like, real life relationships where I'm just giving out thousands of dollars, like, just to get love, bro.
Oh, wow.
It's,
That's deep. So, go ahead.
Again.
So now, being that that's how you kind of grew up, and you you grew up, and then you adopted this type of lifestyle for yourself. At what point did that change for you, and you realized your self-worth? Like, you realized, like, hey, I am a big deal, weight or not. Like, Shamay is a big deal. To whereas you were able to, transition into segue rather into your now marriage.
right.
Like, how did you, like, what happened in order for you to get there? To be worthy enough to be a new wife for this new man.
Right.
In your new life.
So once I had my daughter, and I love all my kids the same. I love them all the same. But my daughter, I can't teach a boy how to be a man, right?
Correct.
But I can relate to my daughter and what I need to watch out for and what I need to instill in her that I never got instilled in me. But in order for me to teach it, I must first learn it. And so I had to go through a discovery of, well, why do I want somebody else to love me if I don't know how to love myself? And what is it to love about me? I had to learn me. So I took about 2 years to actually create a love story with myself. I was still very much so, even after having my daughter, I was very insecure. But I knew God called me. I knew God called me to preach the word of God. I knew God called me for different platforms for women's ministry. I knew that, but I just didn't know why. Like, why are you calling me here? People don't like me. I really battled with people pleasing. And so if I did one thing and it didn't get what I needed it to get, I would try something else instead of really finding out who I was. So I had to find out what does Shamay look like authentically? What do I look like when nobody's watching?
Right.
And I'm just a person that in one sentence I'm laughing, next minute I'm crying. But that's just me. That's real. I need to see more of that in the world. And so maybe if I show the realness, then we'll begin to see it. Because we are conditioned that what stays on in this house goes on in this house. Smile and nobody will ask you what's wrong. Be the strong person. Be the person that always show up. Treat people how you want to be treated. But I was never conditioned to say, I'm not okay. And I need to figure out why I'm not okay. I don't like the way I talk. I don't like my sis. I don't like just little things about me. And so I would address it. Well, why don't you like it? Or what are you looking for? And so I just asked God to show me what he sees in me.
So with that being said, you walk right into my next question. What is one thing Shamay likes about herself?
I love my heart. I love my heart. The Bible says that love keeps no record of wrong, right? The Bible says if I give all that I possess to the poor and cast everything into the fire and have not yet love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. Love doesn't keep record of wrong. It's not quick to get angry. And I begin to say, God, you explaining me. But it's just the heart that he has given me. And that is one thing I absolutely love about myself, that I truly love people, not looking for motives or intentions or what I can get out of it, but I love people. I love to make them feel better. I love to support them. I love to encourage them. I love to be authentic with them. I love to be real with them, because I do understand, my first lady always said, we are helpers of one another. Mm-hmm. And I've always been a helper. And that's absolutely, hands down, one of the major things I love about me.
Okay. So, what would be, you writing a book about Shamay. Mm-hmm. You're writing a book about your life, everything you've been through in your life. What would be the title? I'm not going to say book, I'm going to say movie. What would be the title of your movie, and who would be Shamay in the movie?
I'm so glad y'all said that. You know why I'm so glad? Well, no promotion. But I did tell y'all I wrote a book. Mm-hmm. Okay, short film coming out. Dear Sis, No More Screaming in Silence. No more screaming in silence. See,
about your life.
It's about my life, but it's about women in general. See, the question is, if I were to write a book or write a movie, what would it be?
About your life.
About my life, and it'll be no more screaming in silence. Okay. No more screaming in silence. I'm not gonna smile and beautify myself on the outside, and on the inside I'm screaming. Mm-hmm. I'm suffering. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to voice my opinion. I'm going to state who I am, what feels right to me, what doesn't feel right to me. I'm going to own my truth, and I'm going to be vulnerable, in spite of how people accept it.
Yeah. Who's playing Shamay?
Who's playing Shamay? Mm-hmm. Me.
You gonna play yourself?
I'm gonna play myself. Can't nobody play me.
That's absolutely true.
No, but if I had like a superstar that would play me, I'm going to say I would actually like to see Halle Berry play me.
Why Halle Berry?
Because she is so passionate in her research of her character and presenting her character. She's not scared to study and ask the right questions, and ask the tough questions to get herself into that character. It's ugly truths about Shamay. Ugly truths about Shamay. It's dark places that Shamay had to go through. And so how can you bring it out?
Yeah.
That's good. Mm-hmm. But I can see, based on what you had told, I can see Taraji too.
Taraji, yes. I can see her too. Yes, I can see her too.
That's crazy, because I didn't think about neither one of them. I thought about who I thought about? Monique. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Monique.
The comedian Monique?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I can see that.
No, I can't.
You can't. She definitely gonna keep it real.
Hey, you're not people pleasing right now, are you? Cause you know you won't see Monique.
No, I'm
maybe a little bit. Just don't make a reel out of it.
Right. Just to the storyline, like, cause I thought about her and Precious.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I was saying, like, not no similarities, like, but like, cause I know she could play the old you and the new you.
Right.
Like far as the weight and stuff like that or whatever. That's why I'm looking at it. That's the way I was looking at it. Because if not, you had to get two people.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying or whatever. But
I feel you.
But that was actually a good question, and that was a good answer. Yeah. Like you like, nobody play me but me. Me. Yeah. About me, story me.
No, I mean sometimes like, you know, some subjects are very sensitive. Mm-hmm. You know, and on a real spill type of thing, I feel like I have owned my identity so well now that I can really sit in the valley of it and tell it, and a different atmosphere instead of that valley. Yeah.
Right. And yeah. That's good. I have enjoyed, like, it's just so much to uncover with you, and like a lot of it I didn't know. So it's like, I'm like, oh man. But I think it was good. I mean, I know it was good, and I know it's gonna help somebody. And then, you be able to tell your story, because people can't tell. Oftentimes people try to, but they can't. They try to convey people's story, but you really can't unless you walk in their shoes. Right. So for you to see some of the things, to hear some of the things that you have went through, you definitely don't look like it.
No. To God be the glory.
Yeah, and then when I asked you that question, when I was asking about the men or whatever, I didn't even know that. When you said that you went through what you went through from age 5 to 11, I had no clue. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so when you answered that question the way you answered, I was like, oh gosh, I ain't know that. I would
see that's
it's fine.
Yeah. But see, that's how it is. Sometimes when you open the door, like when you're at the door, sometimes you don't realize that you're opening the door for something. Right. So, but I think being that she asked you that question, it was meant for you to open the door and walk through, because it's gonna save somebody else. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And they're gonna realize, like, I need to tell it. And some people that probably even look at this episode,
tell it.
It'll open up stuff for them too, because we realize a lot of people went through some heavy stuff,
right?
Okay, and they never spoke it.
Go ahead, again.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Because you can cut me off the whole night. Just go ahead.
I'll forget. Look, but okay. Speaking of that, what would you tell the 5-year-old Shamay? What would you tell her when one of the older men said what they will harm your grandmother? What would you tell the 5-year-old Shamay, that 5-year-old that's Shamay that's out there watching, or even the 11-year-old Shamay that's out there watching, and they might be going through the same thing and they're not saying anything because that same person, not particularly that same person, but the same image of that person telling them, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that to a family member. What would you tell them?
So this is what I would tell anybody that's going through that. The same thing I would tell my kids. First of all, if anybody is touching you, forcing their self on you, making you feel uncomfortable, you have to open up your mouth. Don't worry about if somebody's going to get in trouble. Don't worry about if somebody makes you feel like you're going to get in trouble. You're not going to get in trouble. You have a responsibility to yourself to let someone know if something is going on within your body, on your body, to your body. And if you can't tell your mom or your dad, tell somebody else. You have to say something, because if you don't say anything, it's going to follow you. But here's the thing. I know that you might be scared. 5-year-old, 7-year-old, 11-year-old, 15-year-old, 17-year-old. I know you might be scared, or you feel like it's going to be weight, or people are going to look at you differently. But this thing right here is going to heal you more than you know, because the more you hold it in, the more it's going to be a pattern to your new lifestyle. And you don't want to be that 30-year-old. You don't want to be that 40-year-old, that 50-year-old that has never said anything. Because the truth of the matter is, after talking to my mom, I talked to one of my aunts. You ever see people, you be like, why they so cranky, or why they always so negative? A lot of the times, a lot of these women, a lot of these people went through the same thing, and they have just never opened up their mouth about it. Never, because what happens in this house stays in this house. I had one person, when I did a platform discussion, said that their grandma went through it, and they went through it with their granddad. Their granddad did it to them. And so it has to be a situation where it becomes a comfortable situation, a comfortable conversation. Nobody want to have these conversations because they're uncomfortable, but they're real. They're real. And they add to the element of what makes you who you are. Like, it needs to be stated that these are normal conversations. Because when you feel like they're abnormal, or they're strange, or they're weird, that's when we go back into a box and we feel ashamed for the things that has happened to us. You don't be ashamed for the things that has happened to you, but you make a statement about it.
That's it. So who is Shamay today?
Shamay today is a confident woman of God that understands that whatever happens is going to happen with or without me. God is going to do it. God is going to stop it. I'm a woman who understands that mistakes become messages. Okay, tests, trials, storms, they may come. But Shamay is more than a conqueror, more than an overcomer. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Beautiful woman of God that know how to dress, know how to talk, know how to speak with confidence. I was just telling one of my best friends the other day, going to Atlanta this weekend. It was so for me because I went there about 4 years ago for a fashion show, a plus size fashion show. I was in it.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And I lost because they said I wouldn't walk with my head held up.
Oh, wow.
And so I was
Because you walk
conditioned
with your head held up, or you
because I
couldn't?
didn't.
Okay.
They told me to walk with confidence like I knew who I was. And I didn't know how to
couldn't do
do
it.
that.
Wow.
I went to Atlanta. Everywhere I went,
Walk with your head up.
I'm here. But no, seriously, that's who Shamay is. She's just a confident woman of God. Fearfully and wonderfully made.
That's good. That's good. So with that being said, stay tuned to All Things Wait Again Minute.
Good night.